Do you need funding that grows with your revenue in your business? Working capital financing might be your answer. So here's how it works. Working capital financing is basically also known as revenue-based financing. It gives you access to funding based on your monthly deposits, not just your credit score. So very important if you've got a good, consistent cash flow in your business, then your credit score is kind of irrelevant. These are focused on, hey, you've got money coming in the business, we can go ahead and get you, funding. So it's available for businesses with as little as 6 months in business and at least $5,000 minimum monthly revenue coming in. Again, that's going to be proved by your bank statements. So that's typically what the lenders are going to ask for the last several months of bank statements. They may also ask for tax returns depending on how long you've actually been in business. Again, it's a great option for businesses that have consistent sales that just need extra cash to help them grow. And funding amounts typically range from anywhere down, in the very, very low end to $2,000 all the way up to like 15 million plus. So a huge range depending on your particular revenue in your business. So let's say, for example, that a restaurant, they get $75,000 in revenue financing to help them open up a second location. And because the repayment is tied to revenue, the payments are going to scale up or down with their income. So that gives them some flexibility as they're growing, right? So if they're making more money, they're able to, pay things back. If they're making less money, the payment adjusts. So they're not tied with like a 20 grand a month payment when they're only making 3 grand a month because this is a slow season, right? For example, let's say it's a seasonal type of restaurant. They need that flexibility versus a traditional term loan where it's that same, monthly payment over and over again, regardless of how much they're actually making in the business. So if you want to learn about if this is a potential option for your business based on your scenario, there's a link below in the description. Once you click that, it's going to take you to a short survey. It takes like 2 or 3 minutes is all to fill out. It's about 9 or 10 questions total. It's going to ask you some basic information about your business. So things like what's your revenue right now? How long have you been in business? What's your, kind of your estimated personal credit score? Because there are some other funding options that are based on credit score that you might qualify for. And then how much money you're potentially trying to get. If you know what you're going to use the money for, because there are some lenders we work with that, like if you're just trying to buy some equipment, they've got special financing just for equipment purchases. That's a better interest rate and higher dollar amounts than some of the other more traditional funding. So that's why we ask that question. So if you know what it might be for, definitely put that on there. Once you fill out that survey and submit it, it's going to open up a calendar for you. You'll be able to schedule a free call with one of our funding specialists. On that call, they're going to use the information you provided in the survey, and they're going to make the call productive for you, and they're going to explain any potential funding options you have available based on that information from the survey. And then from there, they'll answer any questions you have, and if you decide to move forward, they'll tell you exactly what paperwork might be needed based on the lender, and then they'll walk you through step-by-step the entire process. So there's no cost to you whatsoever to have a call with them and just learn your options. And in most cases, there's actually no cost to you for the funding itself because we usually get a commission. We get paid directly from the lender themselves for referring you for the funding. There are a few funding options where you may pay based on like once you're actually funded. Those are few and far between. And if that is the case, the funding specialist will explain that in advance and say, hey, this particular one, you get funded, you've got to pay, X percentage of the total dollar amount you get funded, you'll be invoiced for that amount. Again, those are few and far between. The vast majority of lending we work with is the lender actually paying us directly. So there's literally no cost to you to have the call, learn your options. And in most cases, like I said, there's literally no cost to you to actually move forward on the funding. But that will all be explained to you if there's any options where there might be an invoice coming your way after you get funded. That'll be explained to you long before you ever even, actually go through the process of getting funded. We explain it all up front. You know everything up front. Our goal is to educate you. Then you can make the best decision for you and your business.